You're listening to Permission To, the podcast where we dive into the science and soul of owning your worthiness as a perfectly imperfect human being. I'm your host, Sam Dew, psychotherapist, positive psychology coach, mama to a beautiful 5-year-old Amelie, and passionate advocate for living an inspired life. My aim is to show you that you have full permission to own your worthiness so that you can embrace your true nature and begin walking boldly toward your dreams. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Permission To. I know these episodes have been a little bit more spread out than I would have hoped, in all honesty. This week I am currently 36 weeks pregnant. I am working from home, but there are builders on site renovating, and life has just done its thing and gotten in the way a little bit. But you know what? I try to practice what I preach and be really gentle with myself and just give myself permission to do the best that I can. So thank you for listening and for being okay with me taking a couple of weeks off from the podcast. I am hoping to batch and record quite a few podcasts before Bub arrives so that there can be some sense of me still being around while I'm on maternity leave, but we will just have to wait and see how we go. But today is a really, really beautiful episode, Permission to Blow Up Your Goal Setting Process. And I am going to talk about one of the biggest challenges that I see in the online space and in the life coaching space, which is around how we have become too focused on goals. We've kind of really simplified human beings and human nature, and we're not taking into context the whole person, their environment, what's happening within their inner world and their outer world, when we're doing goal setting. And what I'm seeing is that people can feel really, really down on themselves if they set a goal and they don't reach it. So I'm also seeing like a lot of unflexible goal setting. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Permission to blow up your goal setting process. And I think it's going to be a really interesting idea for you to reflect on. If you've ever set goals and then felt bad about yourself or felt really triggered when you weren't able to reach those goals in the time frame that you set, then I think this is going to be really interesting for you. And hopefully you can't hear the drilling noises in the background. I think my lovely editor will probably be able to edit them out, but apologies if you can hear them. So the thing that I'm noticing is that if you are not applying context to your growth and allowing space and opportunity to navigate your own unique experience, you are probably going to slow down the process of your business growth or your personal development, and your life goals. And I think there's a lot of black and white thinking when it comes to goal setting, okay, I'm going to work with this coach for 3 months and these are going to be the goals that I want to work on, and I'm only going to feel good about myself and I'm only going to feel good about the coaching that I've received if I reach those goals. And that's where I'd say having really rigid goal setting is a big issue, because often when we're setting those goals, we might not be looking at the context of our lives. We might not be looking at the inner work that we need to do. We might not be looking at whether they're realistic. And so I'm going to share the 3 things that I do with my clients in addition to goal setting and alongside goal setting. So firstly, focusing on owning your worthiness outside of reaching your goals, because so many of us, I know I have done this in the past too, we kind of set a goal and then we attach our worthiness to it. I'm only going to feel good enough as a small business owner if I reach this goal, or I'm only going to feel good enough as a mum if I achieve this, or I'm only good enough as a human being if I create this in my life by this date. And so what happens then is that the goal is already linked to a sense of not being good enough and a I guess, a sense of fear of like, well, how are you going to feel about yourself if you don't reach your goal? So you're already starting off the goal setting process from I guess off balance and from a way that doesn't feel good energetically. So we really want to focus instead on owning your worthiness outside of reaching those goals. And that might mean doing some of that inner work and that personal development work first before you actually even set your goals. The second thing that I like to do in addition to goal setting or alongside it is to focus on how the women I'm supporting want to feel in their day-to-day and how they can create that energy immediately instead of waiting until they reach their goal to feel good. Because how many of us say, oh, when I reach this goal, when I reach 6 figures, or when I have this many clients, or when, we can go on this holiday or afford this house, then I'll be happy, then I'll feel good about life. Again, that's a really big trap, isn't it? Because what it means is that you're not actually in the energy of how you want to be to reach that goal until you're at the goals. You've reached the goal, but actually you need to be in that energy beforehand. So we really focus on how you want to feel in your day-to-day and how to create that energy straight away. Let's say that your goal is, that you want to be able to travel and work from anywhere in the world. How can you create that energy straight away? Could you go and work at a cafe that feels really exotic, like one day a week, or go on a beach holiday and actually work from the beach for a week? So there's lots of different ways that we can, or even just like feeling into that feeling and imagining that experience before you get there can really shift your energy, because I think really reaching our goals is so much about the energy that we have. Are we embodying the person that we want to be? Are we feeling how we want to feel, so that we've got the energy to actually move forward and make those goals happen? And then thirdly, I really like to focus on what's actually happening in their world or the context of their lives alongside the goal. So for example, like I have had women come to me with goals around business, like creating websites, creating launches and things like that. But then when we look at their lives, it's like, they're a mum of young children, they're working full time in like pretty demanding roles. Maybe that, they've already got another business, like they've got a lot on their plate. And so if they're going to set a goal to start a business without making any changes in their life and in their context, then we're probably going to be setting them up for burnout. And that's not really something that I'm up for, like I don't want to support women to push themselves so hard that they burn out. So we really look at, I guess this is where goals need to be flexible and realistic, because even you can set a goal with your coach at the start of a 3-month coaching series, and then something really challenging happens in your life, and all of a sudden that goal might not be realistic anymore. So we really try to focus on creating flexibility with the goals, and also really acknowledging what's actually happening in your world. How do you spend your week? How can we create space for the goals in the week? Is it realistic? So they're the 3 things that I do with my clients alongside goal setting. And I think I also really, really like to focus on our relationship, and that no matter what happens, you are okay as a person, you're good enough, you're lovable, you're cared about, you're seen, you're heard. There's no conditions, because I think sometimes in the coaching industry, there's this real it's my job to keep you accountable, and, maybe you need to get your ass kicked by your coach and be a little bit scared of them, to make your goals happen. I don't really believe in that approach. I mean, it doesn't really, I definitely don't attract women who want that kind of coaching. So I think there's a sense of unconditional love and unconditional positive regard as well that comes within the coaching relationship, that, no matter what, whether you reach that goal or not, I still see you as a human being that has so much potential and so much worth, and maybe you needed to do a little bit more inner work before you could get that website done, So this is something that I think needs to be spoken about a little bit more, because there's a lot of pressure around goal setting and selling people reaching their goals, but human beings are complex. The world is very complex right now. The circumstances that we're living in are complex, and we need to take that into consideration so that we're not making women feel like they're failing if they're not reaching their goals straight away. And I think we live in a world where often people want quick fixes, and they're forgetting that real change actually happens through transformative experiences, through being seen and heard and supported no matter what. Yeah, that's what I'm all about. So that is it for today. I just wanted to touch base with you all because I think we're all getting close to that time of the year where we will probably start thinking about our intentions, thinking about our goals for the year. And I want you to focus on these 3 things before you set your goals. Owning your worthiness outside of those goals. So separating your worthiness from the goal itself and knowing that no matter what, you actually are enough. Focusing on how you want to feel in your day and how you can start to feel that way straight away instead of waiting and putting that energy on hold. And thirdly, focusing on what's actually happening in your world in the context of your life and setting your goals realistically around that. So if you are looking for some epic support in 2022, I also have a really, really exciting announcement. The doors for Permission Granted 2022 are currently open, but they're only open for a really short time, for around a week, because I am going on maternity leave. And so anyone who signs up in 2021, especially in November 2021 for Permission Granted 2022, is not only getting access to amazing discounts, but also a special bonus, which is all around dreaming and setting your intentions for 2022. So if you are interested in a 10-month sisterhood experience, because as you know, I'm not about quick fixes. I believe that transformation happens through long-term relationships and through experiencing new ways of being in the world. And this is what Permission Granted offers you. Then please reach out and get in touch. I'll share the link in the show notes. Keep in mind, although we've got 3 months until Permission Granted actually starts, it's already 30% sold out because I don't like to have huge numbers in my groups because I want to really know and see and be able to build a relationship with every single woman in Permission Granted. So it's not a membership where there's going to be hundreds of women in there and places will sell out. So if you're interested, please reach out and I would love to support you in that way. But thank you for today. Thank you. I would love to hear what you think. And if you found this episode supportive, I'd also be so grateful for you if you could leave me a 5-star review so that I can keep getting this podcast out there. Thanks, everyone.